Welcome to All In for Estacada Schools. Joined by School Superintendent Ryan Carpenter, we'll be taking an in-depth look into the work, the data, the wins, and the fun that's happening every day in the Estacada School District.
Hey, happy Monday. It's hard to believe that we are starting the second week of school in the Estacada School District. I've got to say, I'm just so pleased about how our first week went. I've been in the school district for 11 years now as a teacher, an administrator, and now a superintendent. And I've got to tell you that this last week was the smoothest start to a school year I've ever been a part of. And that's saying quite a bit, really, as you think about all of the logistics, the changes, the planning, the safety, the protocols, the changes, and I should probably say changes one more time. Our school district did such a great job of being flexible, of being agile. I'm so pleased of our district's communication to all of our families. And last but not least, I've got to say how pleased I am of our great community and their willingness to partner with our great school district to conduct what I think was one of the best starts to the school years I have ever been a part of. So fantastic job to everybody from bus drivers, cooks, and custodians. Our classroom teachers were so awesome welcoming our kids. And of course, our principals and our building secretaries managed each and every parent through their significant individual and unique challenges. And our parents dropped their kids off with a smile on their face. They modeled great respect, and they modeled that education is a very important attribute. So what a great collective win. Just had to hunker on that very quickly because I'm so proud of the Estacada School District and its community. So it's week 2. Buckle up. We've got a lot of hot topics and there's a lot of things going on in our school district. Let's go all in for Estacada Schools.
What's your favorite activity outside of your work?
Well, work is a number one activity for me as we try to make Estacada Schools a best place to work, a great place to send kids to learn, and a great place for our employees to work. However, when I do get that free time, I love to unplug by fishing and hunting. I love being in the woods. I love being on a boat in the water. So any opportunity I get to get out, specifically out of cell phone service, and hunt and or fish, that is my place to be. So my happy place is out in the woods, or out on the water, or in my office working. I really do love to work also.
Hot Topics.
So Hot Topics this week is going to be a little bit different because I'm coming to you saying we need help. Or better yet, imagine me holding a sign out on the sidewalk that says, "Help wanted." One of the things that we're experiencing in our school district is tremendous growth. I need to just continually say this because I know that in a lot of other school districts, parents have chosen not to enroll their kids in the school this year because of various reasons. And we also know that there are some families, even in our own community, who are still choosing to homeschool or send their kids to private school. We know that exists. But even counting those families who have elected not to return back to our school district still has enrolled 278 more students this year than we ended school with last year. And so we are bursting at the seams and we need help. We need help getting these kids to school. We need help supporting the logistics of our school district operations. So if you don't mind, I'd like to camp for just a couple of minutes to talk about the specific help that our school district needs. Now, I told you in the last All In for Schools podcast that I authorized the emergency hire of 5 additional classroom teachers, 1 at the high school, 2 at Clackamas River Elementary School, and 2 additional full-time just roving substitutes to make sure that we were covering any teachers due to absence for multiple circumstances. All 5 of those classroom teachers have been hired and are already doing great work inside our system. So it was such a quick turnaround, and we're pleased with the talent that we were able to collect to serve our kids as our student body continues to grow. However, what we are very, very dangerously short in is, number one, our bus driving staff. Hey, if you're listening to this and you know someone, or maybe you have your own CDL Class A, I think it is, CDL driver's license, we really need your help right now. Every school district across the United States of America right now is dangerously low on bus drivers. Oregon alone, the Vernonia School District, as you probably saw last week, had to halt their start to school plans because they didn't have enough bus drivers to run routes. All school districts in Clackamas County are very, very concerned about the limited amount of bus drivers available, or people who possess that specific driver's license to be able to drive the big yellow bus. And I've got to tell you, Estacada is no different. We are probably a quarantine away from not being able to operate schools as well because of how few bus drivers we currently have on our team. And we're working so hard right now to try to entice, recruit, steal other bus drivers and people with that specific CDL certificate to drive bus. But we really could use your help. And so if you're retired, or if you're someone who possesses that truck driver's CDL permit, and you have a little bit of time to give to us, we sure could use that help right now. We're trying to incentivize those people to come and join our team just to make sure that we can successfully operate schools. The other part that impacts us when it comes to a shortage of bus drivers is our ability to take teams to athletic events, because all of the drivers that we have on our team right now need to take kids to and from school. We're very shorthanded in taking the football team to Astoria, taking the volleyball team to Molalla, taking our soccer teams to Madras. And I'm just giving some of those examples of the logistics of how we try to offer a great all-around academic experience through athletics as well. Currently, we're so short in drivers that we have to subcontract with charter transportation services, which is expensive and not always as reliable as we'd like it to be. In fact, today, I'm giving you this podcast, like today, after I stop recording this podcast, I'm going down to the transportation department to get my Type 10 license so that if the Estacada School District is in a pinch, at least I'm legally able to drive a van that contains no more than 10 kids, but I'm hoping that I can help in the event of an emergency circumstance as well. So I cannot stress this enough. We need help. We need people with the right driver's license that can step up and help us drive our kids to and from school. It's a great gig. We've got a great transportation team, and we sure could use your help right now. We're also looking for specific areas. We can always use more cooks. And so if you're interested in helping out in our great nutrition team and feeding an army of kids, we sure could use your help there. We're also relatively shorthanded in custodian substitutes. And so we're not even necessarily looking for full-time 5 days a week custodians. However, if you're looking to make a couple extra dollars and have the time either in the evenings or during the daytime, and are interested in potentially signing up to help keep our schools clean and safe, we could really use your help in that regard too. You can be a retired person, you can be a person just looking for a second job, or hey, just someone looking to get back out there in the work environment as you recover from the pandemic. This could be a good spot for you to get your shoes dirty as we clean our schools and make it safe for the great learning environment we're trying to create. And last but not least, we can always use more paraeducators or instructional assistants. Hey, if you're a mom and students are, back, your kids are now back in the classroom and you're looking for some time to fill, or you want to be involved in your kids' schools, like we need some help supporting some of our students who just need that adult support the most. Right now, we're hiring for 4 paraeducators. Those are the openings that we have, and as well as looking for some substitutes. And so if you're looking for something to do during the day, if you want to help support our special education population, help support the teaching and learning that's going on in our schools, I greatly encourage you to go to our Estacada School District website and look on our human resources page and fill out those applications. So, hey, we need emergency help in bus drivers. We need your help helping our classrooms and paraeducators. We need cooks and custodians. So I'm going to spend my time in Hot Topics today just letting folks know that we desperately need this help. We're a growing school district, and we're trying to keep that small town feel. And it takes a village to educate a community, and we need more adult help to help us execute that mission, vision, and values of our community. So please, if you're hearing this, apply for this position. If you know someone who could help us out, please share this message with them in hopes that we can continue to build and improve on our great Army to educate the Estacada community. That's Hot Topics today. Get your resume updated. We need some help.
What's in Ryan's inbox?
Last week, I received 1,180 emails. I averaged 236 emails received a day. My average response rate was 14 hours and 1 minute to those emails. Now, I know there are a couple of emails that I still need to respond to. I just haven't had the time to sit down and give those emails the quality response that it deserves. What is the topics of those emails, you might be asking? They're great ones, and it works more with our employees on the religious exemptions, as well as some of our community members who are very concerned about the alleged harm that the vaccine may or may not do to people. And so I hear you, and I'll try my best to put some responses together to meet your needs in that area. So just wanted to share that. My response time to you is very important, and I acknowledge that there are a few people collectively out there who are still waiting for a response from me in those 2 specific areas. Hey, about 4 weeks ago, I was hoping, as we talked about students wearing face masks and bringing students back on campus and some of those things, and I received hundreds of emails about people's opinions of students wearing face masks and of us serving kids back in person with kids in face masks. I was hoping that as we started school, I would get roughly 700 emails about how great the start of the school year was this year. And although I haven't received 700, I've got to say thank you to the tremendous positive praise that you've communicated with me, with our building principals, and with other employees inside our school district. Our parents right now are so happy and so excited that school is going. I've had the opportunity last week to just talk with parents as they drop their kids off to both elementary, middle, and high schools. And each one of them just was grateful to be able to have our schools open full-time to in-person learning. And just the morale of our school district is so high. If you took the time to write me a letter about how positive the school year is going, I want you to know that I've read it, I've shared it, and we, the Estacada School District, are just celebrating a very successful opening to the school year. We could not be more pleased with where we're starting at, but yet we also understand that we're all about continuous improvement. So even though we're very excited and celebrating the preparedness of our school district and how smooth that first week of school goes, that's our baseline. From here, we are totally committed to improving from where we're starting right now. And so what a great, tremendous start. Thank you so much for your communication and share of joy, both in social media, in my email inbox, and all around this community. We did it together. It was not easy. We worked through the challenges as one community, and we right now are reaping the rewards from that great work and conversations that we had together. So excited about that. My goal came true, that our community is so pleased with the service that the Estacada School District is offering. That is my inbox this week.
Fact.
Or fiction.
So this is the time for everybody's favorite section of Fact or Fiction. We go on to the social media giant and we take a look at what our community is saying about its school district. Thanks for hanging in there with us. As you always, I know a lot of you wait for this Fact or Fiction section. So let's get right to it. Let's log on to social media and let's see what people are saying about us. So we've got two today. The first of Fact or Fiction is, quote, "It is a very exciting time for both parents and kids," unquote. That statement is true. This really has been an exciting time. I have never felt so much positive energy inside our community. And a lot of that is due to a smooth and successful start to the school year. A lot of that is due to just getting back into that normal routine of getting kids up in the morning, getting them dressed for the school day, and heading them down to get their great education from the Estacada School District. And so I just want everyone to know we feel that too. Social media is just on fire right now with a lot of positive praise about our school district. So that statement is true, and I hope you can feel it because we most certainly can as well. The second one, which I think is an important one that we found on social media just this week, and it says this, quote, "Seeing all of the new hires makes you wonder how many teachers quit their jobs this year," unquote. I think that's a really interesting statement, and it's not necessarily fact or fiction. We do know that nationally, a lot of teachers chose to leave the profession based on the stresses and challenges that they had to deal with last year, doing something that they had never been trained to do, that most school districts and places had no infrastructure in place to support them and their success. And they had to navigate not only their personal challenges through the pandemic, but also educate community children inside of that process. And so there is no doubt about it. A lot of teachers either retired or left the profession nationally and throughout the state of Oregon. I will let you know, though, that of the Estacada School District, this is actually a very interesting statistic. Estacada, 92% of its classroom teachers remained in Estacada. So our retention rate through the pandemic was 92%. We are so pleased and proud that we are a best place to work environment where teachers chose to stay. A lot of that was due to the great collaboration that the school district and its teachers did together to make sure that the product and service that we were offering to our community and the models that we executed both supported the teachers and their tremendous work, as well as supported the needs of our families together. So even though we know that nationally, a lot of folks left the profession, and understandably so. In Estacada, 92% of our teachers actually stayed and are continuing to work with us now. Now, Ryan, you say 92% is awesome, but boy, when I go to my child's classrooms, I'm seeing a lot of new faces and a lot of new teachers. You're right. In fact, because of our growing enrollment, we've had to hire a lot of new employees to support the boom of more children inside our school district. We also, like we've talked about in other podcasts, have had new funds to support things. The Student Success Act is all about trying to engage children. And so we've utilized these funds to add new programs and to increase new options and opportunities for our students. And so we're hiring new people to execute these things. We're also very focused on social, emotional health as we recover from this pandemic and as we work with students and families as they deal with some very, very adverse situations in their personal life, ultimately, which leads to a barrier in their child's learning. And so we've increased with social workers and school psychologists and other wraparound services to support the kid and the families so that they can engage and access their education like everybody else. We've also received funds from ESSER, that's the COVID relief funds. And through that process, we've increased some of our custodial, we've increased other employment opportunities. And so I just want to say, because this is a really great statement that I think deserves its story to be told. We know that times are tough. It is really hard being a public educator right now. It's extremely challenging to be a building principal in today's world right now. The Estacada School District is thriving in this area, and we have a 92% teacher retention rate. We have a 100% principal retention rate, school principal, like the lead principal retention rate. And the new faces that you're seeing in our school district is because of the additions to employees, because of the increase in student enrollment and the new federal and state funds that we're receiving to support the wraparound services of each child who comes into our care. So great things are happening in Estacada schools, but it's a very, very, very challenging profession to be in. And so that should just give us more reason to celebrate the great classroom teachers and the great employees that the Estacada School District has. We truly are trying to be that best place to work, and our retention rate right now is evidence that we're moving in that direction. So Fact or Fiction was a fun one today. Everyone's excited, and we're continuing to build that best place to work environment so that we can recruit and retain the best talent to serve your children. Hey, there's a different vibe in the air as we welcome all of our kids back, and Estacada School District operates in full capacity, where all engines and all cylinders and all systems are moving in alignment together. You play a big role in that as well, and by being an all-in podcaster allows you to stay up to date with some of the most important high leverage actions that we're taking to make our school district great. We are not perfect by any means, and we're trying to just improve every single day. And your feedback is a part of that process. I just want to thank you again for tuning in to this week's All In for Estacada Schools podcast. Have a great week, and together, let's keep making our community the best place to be for our new and born and raised families. This is a great place to raise your children.